Hi guys, now welcome to the second part of the numeric data type, Python numeric data type video. And again, we're learning Python for data science and we're taking it one object at a time. The last object we looked at was the int integer, which is a numeric data type. And so here we are going to be looking at floats. So to start up, I'll document it again. So I just simply use this. So we're looking at floats, right? And then I come over here to the Markdown, and yes, excellent. So a float is basically a number that has a decimal point to it, right? So normally in the initial video, the one before this, you should look it up if you haven't looked at ints. You see that an int is a whole number, so we have 10, right? So here we had the number 1 over here and 10. But then what happens if I put a dot behind 10? So now I'm going to create a float and I'm going to call this number 3, right? Then inside I'm going to have 10, but this time I'm going to put a dot to the back of it, right? And by doing that, I have basically made this a float. So again, just so you know, documentation really important. And so what I have done here, I assigned the value 10.0, which basically is a float, right, to the variable number underscore 3. Again, it's always important for you to understand the philosophy behind variables. Variables hold data types, and they're like containers, so they hold data types, and they are assigned using the assignment operator, which you see over here. And then you can manipulate the data type, which is the value that is inside of it, which basically makes up the Python object that we are working with here. So again, I run this and then I use the type function to confirm that number 3 is a float. And you can see that. And just like we talked about, we can use the float function, right? We can use the float function to convert a non-float data type or a non-int data type to a float. Right, and so which means if I had, recall I have number 2, so I have number 2 here, number 2, which we know is, just to confirm, we use type here to confirm that number 2 is an integer, and it's int for short. And then I can basically convert number 2, so I'm going to call number 2, then I'm just going to say number 2 underscore float. Then I use the float function here, then I put number 2 inside of it, number underscore 2, right? I put number underscore 2 inside of it and I run this, and then once I just quickly use the type function and check number underscore 2 underscore float, I have a float. And just to confirm, I type number underscore 2 underscore float, and you can see it's this 10.0, which is the trailing dot, not the trailing dot, but the dot after the 10, right? So the float is a numeric type, and that's basically what it has. It has a decimal point to it. And so now we've talked about two types. We've talked about integer and we talked about float. And just to add for good behavior, we can use dir, and then we look at number underscore float, and we can see all the stuff we can do to it. Again, you can see really similar to what you can do with the methods you can use with an integer. But yeah, so basically that's that for a float, right? Again, what's this channel for? Learning Python for data science, taking it one Python object at a time. Like this video, subscribe, share with your friends and enemies so that they can get to learn data science one. You can learn Python for data science one object at a time.